Hello, everyone. So we are going to get started on section 2, and that's all about managing drawings in AutoCAD. And so we're going to go over layers, properties, annotations, blocks, paper space, slash layout, and printing or plotting, and template files. Okay, so first and foremost, what are layers? So layers organize objects and line work in a drawing. So with layers, you can associate objects by their function or location, display or hide all related objects in a single operation, and you can apply different properties such as a specific line type, color, etc. And so the layers panel can be found on the Home tab, and I'll go ahead and open up AutoCAD. And I have open here the assignment 2.1 layers drawing assignment, so that way we can go over some of these things. Okay, so up here, this is the layers panel. And this is the layers properties. If I open up this window, this is where I can add new layers, delete layers, change settings, etc. Right here, this is displaying the current layer. So right now it's on layer 0, and if I were to drop it down, it would show the list of available layers. And I only have these two for now because I haven't created any new ones. All right, and so the first thing I want to do is I want to create some new layers. So I'm going to create the layers as shown here, and I'm going to do that by opening up layer properties. All right, so I went ahead and opened this up and I got this window that looks similar to the one I have here. And to create a new layer, I'm going to select this one here. It has like this yellow star. And if I want to freeze layers, I can do that. Here it has sort of like a snowflake. I can delete layers with this X, and I can set the current layer using this green check mark. So first I will create a new layer. And because I was on layer 0, it copied all the properties from layer 0 into this new layer. So first I will do center. I'm going to change the color to magenta. And I want to change the line type to center 2. And I already have this line type in here, so that works out well. All right, and then default is the line weight. Looks good. And so the next one I want to create is construction. So if I am on center and I choose to create a new layer, it's going to now copy the properties from the center layer. Okay, and so I'm going to name this construction. And I don't want the construction layer to print because I'm using this construction layer for construction lines. And if you remember, construction lines are used to guide us in our drawings. And so we don't want them to actually print. So I'm going to turn that off, and I will change the color to 9 gray. Oops. And I'm going to change the line type to hidden. So, or hidden 2. So I don't see hidden 2 on this list, so I have to load it in. So I'm going to choose load. I'm going to look for hidden 2. And here it is. I'll say OK. And then now I can select hidden 2. There we go. All right. And now I can go over, say I go over layer 0 again. And then if I do new, then that's going to create a copy of the properties from layer 0. So let's do dimension now. And the color is green. And these are just suggested colors. You can choose whatever colors that you like. If you have a white screen, for example, like if you decided to change the color theme, then green might be too light for you. All right, geometry. It's going to be white, continuous, and then I'm going to change the line weight. And I'm going to change it to 0.0 to 8 inches. And actually, if you're not seeing it in inches, you might be seeing it in millimeters. So if that's the case, you would actually go up here to the Properties panel, and this right here that shows these different size lines, this is the line weight. And you could go to the drop down next to it and go to line weight settings. And if yours is on millimeters, go ahead and change it to inches. So for example, if mine is on millimeters, and then I went in here, these are all now millimeters. Okay, but I'm going to go ahead and change it back to inches. All right, there we go. All right, and then I'm going to create a new one called hatch. Color is cyan, continuous default. I'll go ahead and hover over the center to create my hidden because it has the most similar properties. I just have to change the line type. And then text. Then title block, I'll go over geometry, in that title block. And lastly, I have viewport. So I will do viewport. And I also don't want that to plot. So I have that turned off. I'm going to change it to yellow. And then I will change the line type to continuous. Okay. So now I have all my layers and the properties of these layers match the properties that I have specified here. So I can go ahead and close this. And now I'm just going to follow the instructions for this assignment. So I want to move the object to the center layer. So that object's going to be the white one, and it's in the center of this box. So I will move it to this center layer, and it automatically took on the properties of that layer. So now it's the magenta color, and it has this center line pattern. I'm going to move this one to the construction layer. I'm going to move these to the dimension layer. And then now it says draw an object on the geometry layer. So it could be any object. It could be a circle, some lines, whatever. So I'll go ahead and I'll do a polygon. And I'll say number of sides, 7. So I'll have the center here. I'll say inscribed, and here we go. But notice I drew that on the 0 layer, so I can simply select it and I can change it to geometry. Or I could have changed this to the geometry layer and then drawn an object. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw whatever. There we go. So now this is on the geometry layer already, and anything I draw from here on out will be drawn on the geometry layer. If I hover over this without clicking anything, I can see some properties here. And so I can see right where it says layer, next to it says geometry. So I know I'm on the right layer. if I hovered over this one, I would see the layers on layer 0, but the property, the color has been overridden to magenta. Okay, so this is a hatch. If I select this, it's going to automatically open up this hatch editor tab. And for me to change the layer, I could just go back to the home tab, and then now I can switch the layer to hatch. I'll exit. Okay, and then now I'm going to move this one to the hidden layer. And I'll move this to the text. And then this one to the viewport. All right, and then here it says, after moving the object to the specified layer, try locking and unlocking layer. Try turning on and off the layer, and try freezing/thawing the layer. Okay, so I can go ahead and highlight my object, and then if I go here and lock the layer, what does that do? So I'm going to lock it, and now I'm going to escape. And I can see that my object is locked, and it's now like a lighter, more faded color. So that means I can't edit it. I can still see it, but I can't change anything about it. I can't move it, even if I do the move command. I can't copy it. And so that's what it means for it to be locked. Okay, so I'll go ahead and unlock that layer. And then now I'm going to turn on and off the layer. So that's just going to make the object visible or not visible. So I can't edit it when I can't see it. And then I can try freezing the layer. And so actually I'm highlighting it, but I should note that you don't have to highlight it to freeze it. So if I were to freeze this layer, it's going to turn it on and off as well. It's going to make it so you can't see the layer. The difference between freezing and turning on and off though is that when you freeze it, it doesn't update in the background. So it will make your drawing a little bit more efficient. When you turn on and off it, it still recognizes it in the background, and so it might make it a little bit, it's not like you can select it or change it, but it won't make it quite as efficient. So I usually use the freeze function. So for example, if I froze this 0 layer because I have a lot of line work on the 0 layer, that is going to, and when I say line work, I just mean things that I've drawn. If I were to freeze this 0 layer, that would make all of that disappear, right? And so now I can work in here, but I don't have to worry about all that extra stuff. And I can unfreeze it. I can lock it. And right now I'm on the geometry layer. If I try to lock it, freeze it, I can't because it's a current layer. So anything I draw is on the geometry layer. So if I need to freeze this layer, I have to switch to a different layer first, and then I can freeze it. And so now my circle's gone. Okay, so that is all about layers in AutoCAD.